GamingBolt presents 15 amazing secrets in Destiny 2 you totally missed. Whether you're a fan of the series or a new player picking it up for the first time, Destiny 2 is rife with secrets to unearth. Some of these are clever references and secrets, while others take some work to unlock. Let's take a look at 15 of these secrets and references in Destiny 2. I don't have time to explain. In the mission Looped, when you're tasked with hunting down Cade 6 after he got into a fight with a Vex teleporter and lost, upon meeting Cade trapped in midair, one of his lines is, "I don't have time to explain what I don't have time to understand," which seems to be a callback to the Exo Stranger's line, "I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain," from Destiny 1. This isn't exactly better, but it's a nice little reference for veterans. ERIS'S urn and SHAXX'S spot. Let's jump back to the beginning with the Homecoming mission. You noticed the sweeper bot easily enough while walking through the ruined tower. However, when meeting Cade 6 for the first time, SHAXX'S old Crucible booth is behind him. Walk a little further ahead and you'll spot Eris Morn's urn, still glowing in the rubble. Maybe this is indicative of her being crushed and unceremoniously removed from the series? One can certainly hope. The Farm Race. In the farm, you'll find checkpoints which activate to start some kind of race. Complete the race and you'll earn a neat speed and jump boost that allows you to check out the farm with more freedom. You may even find a lone wolf overlooking the location, which is a reference to wolves from the Iron Temple. Titan's sea creature. If you ever went into the lore for Destiny, you'll have heard about a certain worm that granted Oryx his powers. If you look past the platform where Sloane is standing on Titan and into the water, you may catch a glimpse of some kind of sea monster. Is this the same hive worm? That's the grand theory, and while the Leviathan raid wasn't about this particular beast, there's definitely something roaming the depths of Titan. Hard light is the future's iPhone. One of the new features of exotics and some legendaries in Destiny 2 is a tab dedicated to lore. Some of the stories are actually pretty interesting, but the lore for Hardlight is arguably the best. It talks about 3 revolutionary products, which, unlike other product launches, will be released all at once in a single device in extremely limited quantities. If this doesn't sound familiar, it's actually a reference to Steve Jobs' keynote speech when introducing the very first Apple iPhone, which is funny because iPhones are popular and Hardlight is not and never will be. Downright hilarious, we tell you. Days since last accident. Bungie has made little winks to the activities of its players in the past, like in Destiny's Festival of the Lost 2015, where one quest saw you falling off the tower while wearing an Atheon mask. Destiny 2 goes even further with the whole Guardians Falling trend. If you head to the tower hangar, you'll notice a sign that says X number of days since last accident. Leap off of the tower, respawn, and will change from 1 day to 0 days. Giant Traveler Ball. Search for the usual ball that spawns in the tower and take it to different places within the social space. It will start disappearing and reappearing, but with a different color. If you spawn these different balls and take them to the right locations, a gigantic Traveler Ball will spawn in the main hub area of the tower. It's almost as useful as the Traveler itself. We actually can't make that joke anymore since the Traveler finally did something. Oh well. The floor is lava. Look around the area where you spawn in the tower, and you'll find something that says, "Don't pick me up." So, naturally, you pick it up and gain a debuff called "The floor is lava." Search for a marker somewhere, head to it without touching the floor, and you'll gain a buff called Quickness after reaching it. This grants higher speed and jumping abilities, so you can access out-of-reach areas like Ikora's balcony and investigate her notes. On a BRAY. With the Quickness buff in hand, head to the tower hangar, namely the upper areas. Follow these until coming across a welder and a balcony. Jump over to the balcony, access some air vents, crawl through, and eventually you'll come across a conspicuous empty room with the word DAITO flashing on the screens. If you investigate, there will be a journal belonging to Anna Bray, a hunter who fought in the Battle of Twilight Gap. What's it doing in the present though? How is she related to Clovis Bray? More importantly, DAITO and the Jade Rabbit. DAITO may seem innocent enough, but there's greater significance behind it. This is actually the manufacturer behind the Jade Rabbit, a popular Destiny 1 exotic built off of the Fate of All Fools. Maybe Anna Bray, and by extension Clovis, is associated with the manufacturer and could make an appearance in future Destiny DLC like Curse of Osiris. It certainly wouldn't be weird, especially if it introduces DAITO as a new vendor in the tower. Call your ship. If you head to the hangar in the new tower and walk up to a control panel at the very end, you can actually summon your jump ship. It'll dock in and just sit there for you to admire. Yes, Bungie couldn't really do anything else with ships in Destiny 2 besides making them pretty to look at, but at least this way you can admire them up close. SUROS regime NERF reference. Even more interesting lore abounds in Destiny 2, especially with regards to the Mida multi-tool. The lore tab makes reference to Zavala not confiscating Red Death Ingrams and not rolling back the SUROS Crucible firmware to its original, preposterously inflated state. Basically, Zavala is talking about not getting rid of the Red Death, which is a weapon despised by the Vanguard and fairly popular in Destiny PvP at one point. The second part is a reference to Bungie nerfing the SUROS regime back in Year 1 for being too powerful. Of course, the part about all auto rifles suffering as a result is conveniently not mentioned. The Sweeper Bot. Remember those sweeping robots from the original Destiny? Well, they're back now in Destiny 2. These bots can be found sweeping in the tower at the beginning of the game, but then the tower gets destroyed and they make a grand appearance again in the new tower towards the end of the game. Wolf Guardian overlooking the farm. Not many people may know this, but there is a wolf overlooking the farm and Guardians, which is a reference to the original Destiny. It's pretty easy to miss given that he's sitting at quite a distance from the player. Star Wars referenced again. Ardent Star Wars fans can't hear anyone, even Destiny 2's Ghost, say, "I have a bad feeling about this," and not think it's a reference. Of course, on a meta level, it could be Bungie paying homage to that whole thing about becoming a cultural phenomenon on the level of Star Wars, which it most certainly is not. The fact that Ghost said the same line in Destiny 1 is even more evidence of this possibility. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.